Hey there. So, I want to talk a little bit about some interesting information that I've come across recently, um, basically revolving around some prophetic words that people have spoken over this area for some reason. I don't know if other areas have, there might be other areas and other places that have the same sort of thing about them, but this is just some really interesting information that I came across. And the first person, well, the main person that this comes from is a lady by the name of Corrie Ten Boom. She was on a TV evangelistic Christian network sometime back in the late 70s, and she made this comment about Northwest Arkansas. She told Paul Crouch, I believe his name was, that she believed that the Christian movement in the last days would stem or be based in the Northwest Arkansas area. So she was talking about this area, and then she turns to Paul Crouch after she says this, and she says, "Where is Arkansas?" So, which is really interesting. You know, if somebody's going to say something about this area, they should obviously know where it is. But anyway, who knows? Let me back up a little bit for those of you who don't know who she is. She was a Dutch survivor of the Nazi concentration camps. She and her sister Betsy were in one of these camps, and they saw their parents murdered right before their eyes, as well as a lot of their friends and family members. But they both made it out of there alive, and she's written a book regarding all this and the miraculous way that she escaped death, she and her sister. She's deceased now. I don't know what year she died, but before she did die, she went around with her testimony, sharing her story about how she got out of the concentration camp and how God saved her and her sister. She would tell people that they needed to face the idea that they were going to have to go through tribulation on this earth before the complete end happened, not to believe that they were going to get snapped out of here like in a second, like a lot of people believe. She was of the mindset that you were going to have to face it, and she would know. I mean, she had, after all that she had to go through, she wanted people to know that God just doesn't snatch you out of a bad situation sometimes. You have to go through it. So the second story that I found about her was she was making this plane trip to somewhere, and they were flying over Northwest Arkansas. And she was with this guy. His name was Bill Gothard. She wants to know where they are. So he gets up and goes and asks the pilot, what are they flying over? And he says it's the Ozarks of Northwest Arkansas. And so when he gets back, Corrie tells Bill that this area that they were flying over, like right then at that time, and this was in the late 70s again, that this was going to be like the center of something really big in the last days, that of the big Christian movement. This would be where Christians would come to for a safe haven. I'm not really exactly sure how she put it. It's just that she pinpointed this area as an area that would be chosen by God for his people to come to. Then in this story, Bill Gothard's sister comes into play. She was his secretary, and Corrie ended up at their house that night to eat dinner. And she remembers the story very well that Corrie told Bill. She kept talking about it over and over, how this area would be a safe haven for people and a place where God's people would come in the last days. One of the articles said that she was living right across the border in Missouri. Before she died, she was living over there, and evidently she was going to one of these great passion plays. I don't know if y'all know what that is or not, but right above Eureka Springs, there's this play that they do. I've never been to it, but it's called the Great Passion Play, and where people are dressed up like, it's the crucifixion. I'm really not sure what the Great Passion Play is about, but anyway, that's where she was. The article said that she saw a band of angels with their swords held out, and at the point where she was at a place just north of Harrison, and that's where she saw this. Evidently, she was on her way to the Great Passion Play because several members of the Passion Play confirmed to Joseph Heath of the Agape Love Messenger of that they're the ones that told him of what she said. And then there was Cliff Dudley, the founder of New Leaf Press, just north of Green Forest, Arkansas. He had ghost authored a book for her. And this is the same time she's living right across the border in Missouri, supposedly. And Cliff knew about this because Corrie had told him about it. And he told a guy named Ken Updegrove about it. And one of the places I found this was on Ken Updegrove's website. His website is arkhaven.org. But what Cliff Dudley told Ken was that she saw a vision of a band of angels, 5 high and swords down, forming a circle from horizon to horizon. Then about Ken Updegrove, he is a Christian author. He was living in Illinois in 1982, and the Lord told me to move to Northwest Arkansas because it is a green island of survival, and I was to move there to form an end-timed ministry. His website, once again, is arkhaven.org. Next is this evangelist by the name of, she's a Chinese evangelist. Her name is Nora Lamb, Lamb. She was on an airplane going over Northwest Arkansas. On her way to Tulsa, Oklahoma, she sees this massive ring of fire stretching from the horizon down below. Then the final person I wanted to bring up is David Wilkerson. He had this ministry on Times Square, and he was known for being the founder of Teen Challenge. It's a drug program for teens addicted to drugs and alcohol. Still going strong today. But he had a huge church on Times Square, and he also had newsletters that he sent out. He had books. The books would be The Cross and the Switchblade, and The Vision, and God's Plan to Protect His People in the Coming Depression. This was a man they say was before his time, and he was usually right on. So he gave this indirect prophecy through a friend about this area, saying, your state will be used as a haven for people who will flee from the east and the west coast. Which, if you put all of that together, it's like these people, I know he did not know these people. Anyway, it's just kind of bizarre. Just kind of bizarre. And like I said, there's this man and his wife who live down the road, and we go over occasionally for like a Bible study they have on Saturdays over there. And he knows some of these people who were involved in some of these ministries. He knows them personally, and he verified the whole thing. He said, yeah, I do remember this, and I know about him, and he knows who these people are. Could this area be divinely protected? And if so, why this area? And anyway, I don't know. Maybe some of y'all have some ideas. I'm sure you do. Now, in my next video, I already have, I wanted to put it all in the same one, but I didn't want this one to be too long. But I'm going to be sharing some interesting maps that have been drawn with prophetic implications. Do I believe that there really is an appointed place that's going to be completely safe from all disasters? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not saying I believe that 100%. I do believe that there are places where different people should be and go. And I feel like those people know who they are, and they know where they're supposed to be and where they're supposed to go, and there's a reason for it. There's just got to be a reason for it. And then there's these people that they just don't know what to do. They're like throwing their hands up like, what the heck am I going to do? You know, most of these are people living in cities, and they're scared to death. All I can do is just share the information. I just thought it was interesting, so I thought I would pass it along. And I do have some interesting information coming up. There's definitely some really strange stuff going on these days. You get these news stories here and there, and most of these news stories put stuff off. They're like, oh, that was nothing. This was just a such and such. But if you put it all together, it looks like there could be some real problems coming up. And my next video after the map video will be the culmination of all that. I'm going to try to put it out there and see what y'all think. See if anybody has any ideas of what's going on or if there's anything to it. Oh, a little bit about what I've been doing. I've been working in the greenhouse. I've got 2 different varieties of cucumbers. I've got black Cherokee black tomatoes. I think that's what I was growing. They're still green. They're just about to turn red. I did get a late start. And I've also got peppers, sweet peppers, orange, red, and yellow. And they're all still green, but they will be turning very soon. And I've got some cherry tomatoes, and I'm growing ginger. I'm also working on lettuce, seed lettuce. I'm gathering seeds for lettuce for this fall. And I'm working on a lot of seeds. I've got a lot of carrot seeds that I've saved, lettuce seeds, and I've got onions, scallions. No. What are those things? Shallots. I've got shallots, onions, and garlic. So, also, we've got 2 incubators going. I am hatching eggs. We've ordered some eggs from a farm in Rhode Island, and we've just finished hatching those eggs. And now we are working on some cream leg bars. Those lay blue eggs. So we furnish eggs to one of the local grocery stores. We like to make the cartons as colorful as possible. So we're working on some different breeds that will give us a nice array of colors in the box. Anyway, I was just going to let y'all know what I have been up to. Still got all the goats, and there's flies out here. The temperature is great since Monday. It's been in the 50s at night and in the 70s in the daytime. It's unbelievable compared to the week before when it was like in the up to 100, and the heat index way up over 100. So this is nice. I went to town today and everybody's got long sleeves on. Some people don't, but like I'm one of them. I have the long sleeves on. All right, well, I'll catch y'all later. And my goats are coming. They're all hungry, so they're like, "What are you doing sitting there in the grass? It's time for me to eat." Right, buddies? Are y'all hungry? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Okay, all right. All right, I gotta go. Peaches! Don't eat all the peaches! What are you doing? What are you guys doing? Hey boys! Hey boys!